Right, welcome to this review. It's for the Codex supplement for Imperial Fists. So a big thank you to Games Workshop for sending me a copy along ahead of time. You can check out gamingfigures.com, that's where I usually get my Games Workshop stuff, and they also do a load of other gaming systems also from them. So Imperial Fists, I have an Imperial Fists army. I've been currently revamping and working on it, and now this Codex supplement has arrived, so hoping to enhance this list and maybe slightly adjust the direction it's going depending on what's in here. I want to build a themed list that ties in nicely with the new rules. So there's going to be things like new Warlord traits, stratagems are going to be key as well, psychic discipline and so on. So we'll see what we can do with the Imperial Fist, but I'm going to be looking at it from my own sort of personal point of view, how to change and improve the list that I have. And I want to try and use models that I already have and then make some adjustments, maybe bring in some new models. So I like these supplements. I think they're great. I really do think they're good. You can immerse yourself more in the specific styles of each of these chapters, which is really good. And it sort of makes sense for Games Workshop to do it. You know, Space Wolves have their own codex, Blood Angels have their own codex. Other chapters have sort of been stuck by borrowing from the standard Space Marine codex, and so it's nice for them to have a supplement at least. You know, because Imperial Fists, just as important, just as big as a chapter as, say, the Blood Angels or Space Wolves. So it's nice to bring them up a level and to give them their own supplement here. That's the kind of colour scheme. For Imperial Fists, there's complete army videos. There's a start collecting video here on the channel. There's a painting tutorial for Imperial Fists. If you like the look of my Imperial Fists, you see them in different battle reports, then check out the painting tutorial. It's been up for a few years now on the channel in the painting tutorial section. And then for larger projects, over on the Plus channel, the new Plus channel, you will find an in-depth painting tutorial for a Rhino. So one of the vehicles, a larger project, painted up in the Imperial Fist colour scheme. I'll show you all the techniques and weathering and how to do transfers and so on in that video. But Games Workshop boasting the new Primaris models. See, 2 factory fresh here, clean cut, no battle damage and no weathering. I would see. On mine I've painted up. I've tried to add in a bit of chipping and weathering effect just to tone them in a bit, but because the colour's very strong. Again, Primaris here, some regular Terminators just there. Imperium's shield. So Imperial Fist is kind of resolute, strong, ultra orthodox, loyal to the Emperor and so on. So it's that kind of strong, unflinching battle line. And it's sort of the siege type mentality of the Imperial Fist as well. So good at destroying heavier targets, buildings and so on. There's your organisation here. Different companies. First company. Second, which is what I have, I believe, with the, looks like black, it should be black. Yeah, second company just there. No, second company's gold. Fifth company, sorry. Yeah, apologies. Mine's fifth company with the black trim. Second company's with the gold. Third company with the red, which is often the showcase models are painted up with the red. Fourth company. There they are, there's the fifth company. The sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth with the blue, nice, and then the 10th company just there, the scouts and infiltrator type units. Chapter command, armory here, A glorious history. Nice, beautiful piece of artwork, that. And again, see the artwork here? Chips and battle damage. Just looks very cool. Yes, one of the successor chapters, of course, the Crimson Fists. Always had a soft spot for them. Beautiful colour scheme. Brilliant. Uniforms and heraldry. Rin's world. Again, it's the Imperial Fists fighting away. Again, loads of battle damage and chipping and so on. Just think it looks very cool. Tor Garadon. That's the new character. Beautiful model. Really good. Lysander, which I was hoping they'd do a resculpt on him. It's an old model. Recently painted him up, but it looks like I've got to stick with him for a while. Which is a shame. Pedro Cantor as well. But instead, Games Workshop I've gone for a new character, Primaris, so Tor Garadon here. But a brilliant model for sure. So this is the new Primaris models. Oh, not new, these are standard Primaris Marines here, Intercessors, Hellblasters, Aggressors and so on. It's the vehicles. Crimson Fists. Yeah, other successor chapters then. The Invaders, Crimson Fists, Sons of the Phoenix, the Iron Knights, the Excoriators, and the Hammers of Dawn. Okay, then that's giving you a sort of an overview of the standard Imperial Fist force here. It's interesting, they've got standard tactical squads here at the back, regular Terminators, and then the front ranks here of your Primaris models. Okay, exemplars of Dawn's Legacy. So I'll call out the points values then. Captain Lysander, 130 points. Pedro Cantor, 150 points for him. And then Tor Garadon, 140 points for him. So, yeah, Lysander's solid as a rock. I really have enjoyed having him in my more recent Imperial Fist list. He's done very well. That sort of solid character there in the centre of your army. And the great showdown he had twice with our Imperial Fist versus Death Guard game against Mortarion. He did do very well. Power level 7, 8. They're all HQ choices here, I'd imagine. Yep. So movement 5, weapon skill, ballistic skill 2+, strength 4, toughness 4. It's got 6 wounds, which is really good. It's got 4 attacks, leadership 9, and a 2+ save. The great thing about the Fist of Dawn, this great hammer that he wields here, it's +6 strength, so he fights at strength 10, save -3, 3 damage, there's no minus to hit rolls. So he's on 2s to hit, re-rolling 1s. It is excellent. The Walking Fortress, he has a 3+ invuln save for the shield that he's carrying. Rights of battle reroll, hit rolls of 1 for attacks made by models in friendly Imperial Fist units, whilst within 6 this model. So that's for close combat, and also for shooting vitally as well. So I have a fair amount of heavy weapons in my army, and so it's good to have them hang around. Even flyers, you can converge them onto his point just to get the reroll ones to hit, which is very, very useful. Teleport Strikes is a Terminator, so you can deep strike in, turn 2 onwards. And then Icon of Obstinacy, morale test taken from an Imperial Fist unit within 6, no more than 1 model can flee. So, which is okay. Space Marine morale's pretty good anyway, but he's there to help a bit as well. But just a general solid character, tough enough for sure, and you can dish out some really decent attacks. Great to takes the nerves away a little bit when you come up against an opponent, tons of close combat ability. They come hurtling in towards you, and then you look down and think, oh yes, Lysander's there, he'll help bolster the line, act as a great countermeasure to attacks that come through. So very glad to have him in the list. He's very, very useful for sure. And they're not just wasted on close combat, ability to reroll 1s for shooting as well actually helps out the firepower part of the army as well. So next, Tor Garadon here at power level 7. Movement 5, weapon skill and ballistic skill 2+, strength 4, it's toughness 5, 7 wounds, loads of wounds, 5 attacks, excellent, leadership 9, a 3+ save. He's armed with a grav gun, the Hand of Defiance, and the grav gun is range 18, rapid fire 1, strength 5, -3, 1 damage. If it's against a save characteristic of 3 or better, then it's D3 damage for the attack. Hand of Defiance is ×3 strength. Wow. Oh dear. ×3 strength, so he'll be fighting at strength 12. And then AP -3, 3 damage. And it is -1 to the hit rolls though. Yep. Angels of Death, by the way. Yeah, so that will help out both of these. Extra attack on the charger if they are charged or perform heroic intervention. So he gets like 6 attacks, which is superb. It does have a 4+ invuln save. Right, so battle reroll once for Imperial Fist units within 6. The Signum array at the start of your shooting phase, you can select one for any Imperial Fist unit that is within 3. Models from that selected unit have a ballistic skill 2+ till the end of that phase. Useful. And Siege Captain, resolve an attack made by this model against a vehicle or building. Add 1 to damage characteristic of the weapon being used for that attack. So if he smashes into a vehicle, it'll be damage 4. Yeah, generally pretty good. But by no means does he replace Lysander. Lysander's still as solid as a rock. Yep. And a little bit cheaper as well. So I'm happy enough to stick with Lysander, I think. For now. Don't think I'll take both of these. One or the other. But no, I'd still like Lysander. Pedro Cantor then. Power level 7 again. Movement 6. This is the more expensive here. Weapon skill and ballistic skill 2+, strength 4, toughness 4, 6 wounds, 5 attacks. This is standard marine model here, so this is really good having 6 wounds and 5 attacks. Leadership 9, 2 up save. It's got Dawn's Arrow and a Power Fist. She's standard Power Fist, just the usual, so he's going to be fighting at strength 8, -3 and D3 damage. And the Dawn's Arrow is range 24, assault 4, strength 4, -1, 2 damage. Gets Angels of Death, potential 6 attacks. Chapter Master, you can reroll hit rolls for attacks made by models in friendly Crimson Fist units whilst within 6. And again, it's been reworded here as the newer releases have done. It's not reroll failed hit rolls, it's reroll hit rolls. So you can reroll rolls that you know are going to become misses once the modifiers are applied. So that's better. Oath of Rin. Add 1 to attacks characteristic of models in friendly Crimson Fist units whilst within 6 of this model. Excellent. And he's got a 4+ invuln save. Yeah, so you're going more for the bonuses that he grants to your battle line, which are excellent. Extra attack, rerolling all hit rolls. Brilliant. It's all units. Again, you could converge vehicles and flyers onto his position and get reroll all of your hits. Superb. We can have him hanging around with a line of predators, for example. Excellent. Yep. So yeah, solid choice for sure. Bit of a showcase here, Imperial Fists fighting away against Chaos. Arch enemies of Black Legion. Yeah, look, even the Black Legion model here is carrying an Imperial Fist head. Nice, another one. Okay. Sentinels of Terror. Let's check out the rules here. Hoping for some really tasty stuff for the Imperial Fists. Okay, here we go. So, Legacy of Dawn. Whilst the Devastator Doctrine is active, when resolving an attack made by a heavy weapon by model with this ability against a vehicle building, add 1 to the damage characteristic of that weapon for that attack. So, +1 damage against vehicles. And it has to be the Devastator Doctrine, which is the first doctrine you have in play. So that suits my style for the Imperial Fist. The style I'm going for is like a heavy armour, heavy guns, and just rinse the opponent down as much as possible. Yeah, really good, because the two main weapons that I'm employing at the moment is las cannons and assault cannons. Yeah. Now, assault cannons with +1 to the damage characteristic against vehicles. That's interesting. Okay, and then las cannons as well. You know, D6 damage +1. Decent enough. Happy enough with that one. Talks about successor chapters, and then what we're going to look at in a moment here: Warlord traits, relics, stratagems, psychic powers, and then the tactical objectives. I'll cover those as well. Okay, so Warlord traits. Captain Lysander has Indomitable, which is the second one. Tor Garadon has Siege Master, the first one, and Pedro Cantor has Stoic Defender, which is across here for Crimson Fists, the last one. Okay, so Siege Master then for Tor Garadon. Resolve an attack made by this warlord against a building or vehicle, add 1 to the wound roll. Ah, so that will help him in close combat, for example. Yep. Great, fine. Yep. Indomitable now, this is for Lysander. When resolving an attack made against this warlord, an unmodified wound roll of 1 to 3 always fails, irrespective of any abilities that the weapon or the model making that attack may have. Cool, that's just made him nice and solid. Brilliant. 4+ invuln save, ignoring 1, 2s and 3s that come through. So very, very helpful. Just thinking if and when he fights against Mortarion again. Yeah. Okay, so pretty good. Fleet Master's the next one. Once per battle at the end of your fight phase, if this warlord remains stationary and did not make any attacks this turn, it can call down an orbital strike. Oh, this is probably going to be not very good. If it does, select 1 point in the battlefield. This is only once per battle as well. Roll 1d6 for each unit within d6 of that point, subtracting 1 for the result if it's a character. 4+, it's d3 mortal wounds. So, yeah, it's okay. Yeah. I probably won't bother with that one. Stubborn Heroism. So if your opponent knows you have it, the opponent's just going to spread out. So I'm not so keen on that one. But Indomitable's great, and Siege Master's great. Stubborn Heroism. The warlord cannot fall back. When resolving an attack against this warlord, halve any damage inflicted, rounding up. So to help with durability again. Architect of War. When resolving an attack against a friendly Imperial Fist units within 6 inches of this warlord with a weapon that has an armor penetration characteristic of -1, if the unit is receiving the benefit of cover, add an additional 1 to the saving throw. This does not apply to invuln saving throws, so bit of help there. Because I'm partially tempted to get a Aegis Defence Line, bring that into the list and sort of build a little mini fortification castle type thing. Might be quite cool. The Hand of, just to sort of add to the theme of these, the Hand of Dawn. Before the battle, if your army is battle forged, roll 1d3. You gain a number of command points equal to the result. That's okay. And then Crimson Fist Warlord traits, there's 3 here. Refuse to die. The first time this Warlord is destroyed, roll 1d6 at the end of the phase. On a 4+, return this Warlord to play with d3 wounds remaining, placing them as close as possible to the previous position, 1 inch away from enemy models. So, pretty good. Tenacious Opponent. When you choose this warlord to fight with, if there are at least 5 enemy models within 6 of them, add d3 to the warlord's attacks characteristic until the end of the phase. That's okay. And then Stoic Defender, which is Cantor's ability. Friendly Crimson Fist units have the Defenders of Humanity ability whilst within 6 inches of the warlord. Such ability, or if such a unit already has that ability, each one on that unit counts as 2 models for the purposes of that ability. So useful if you're trying to claim objectives. Okay, so yeah, pretty good. Relics then. I'll be fascinated to see some of these ones. So the Spartan first. Model with a bolt pistol or heavy bolt pistol only. It becomes range 18, pistol 2, strength 4, AP -3, and 2 damage. This weapon can target a character even if it's not the closest enemy unit. So yeah, pretty good character, a pretty good very good weapon really. Swapping out a bolt pistol for that is pretty good. Could be well worth the extra command points to take an extra relic. The banner of Stagander, Imperial Fist Ancient only. When resolving an attack made by a melee weapon by a model in Imperial Fist unit is within 6 of this relic, add 1 to the hit rolls, +1 to hit rolls. It's helpful for Terminators and so on. Send the Eye of Hypnov, Imperial Fist model only. Resolve an attack made by a ranged weapon by a model in Imperial Fist unit that is within 6 inches of a friendly model of this relic. Reroll a wound roll of 1. A wound roll. Not any wound rolls. Yeah, that one. Okay. The Bones of Ostrak. For Librarian, when a psychic test is taken from a model with this relic, is attempted to manifest a psychic power from the Geokinesis discipline, you can re-roll the results. Yeah, make it nice and reliable, it's pretty good. So we'll see if it's any good, the Geokinesis discipline, a bit later on, whether it's worth taking Librarian, giving them this relic, and trying to make sure these powers go through. Duty's Burden, Crimson Fists. Yeah, so far, not really too blown away. Okay, Crimson Fists then. Duty's Burden, it replaces a Mastercrafted Auto Bolt Rifle or a Mastercrafted Stalker Bolt Rifle. You get range 30, rapid fire 2, strength 5, -2 and 2 damage. The Fist of Vengeance replaces a Power Fist, makes a ×2 strength, 8 -3 and a straight 3 damage, and there's no minus to hit rolls, so that is really good as well. Nice one. Okay, special issue war gear. So if your army is led by an Imperial Fist Warlord, or a Warlord drawn from Imperial Fist Successor chapter, you can give one of the following special issue war gear relics to an Imperial Fist character model from your army, or a character model from your army that is drawn from an Imperial Fist Successor chapter, instead of giving them a relic from the Codex Space Marines. These are considered to be chapter relics for all rules purposes. Named characters and vehicles cannot be given any of the following relics. Okay, so there's still a chance to draw from here. Adamantine, there's a lot of standard ones that repeats here through the different supplements, but I'll run through them anyway. Adamantine Mantle. So when you lose a wound, 5+, you ignore the wound. A model of this relic. Artificer Armour, a model of this relic has a save characteristic of 2+ and a 5+. Invuln save, Mastercrafted Weapon. You give this model this relic, select one weapon your model is equipped with. Add on to the damage characteristic of that weapon. The weapon is considered to be a chapter relic. You've got Digital Weapons, which is just a single attack. If you get a hit, it's a mortal wound. Fist of Terror. It replaces Power Fist, which is ×2 strength, AP -3, D3 damage. There's no minus to hit rolls, you just get an extra attack. Not that amazing. Gatebreaker Bolts. When you give a model this relic, select one bolt weapon, and this model is equipped with. When the bearer shoots with that weapon, you can choose for it to fire a Gatebreaker Bolt. If you do so, you can only make one attack with that weapon, but if it hits, it's D3 mortal wounds instead of one. Each successful wound roll results in a wound that must be allocated. When resolving that attack, the weapon has an armor penetration characteristic of -5, a damage characteristic of 1. Okay, and then Auric Aquila. Model with this relic has a 4+ Invuln save. When a model with this relic would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound in the psychic phase, 5+, the wound is not lost. And then the Warden's Cuirass. Add on to the wounds characteristic of a model with this relic. Okay. So yeah, all okay so far. Not utterly blown away. We'll see now for the stratagems, as the Salamander stratagems have been excellent. I think they're really, really good. We'll see here what the Imperial Fists, as well as his standard Space Marine stratagems, which is a load of them. We'll see if any of these are tasty enough. So, it's almost a moment of truth here for the supplement. We'll see. Bitter Enmity. 1 command point. Use this stratagem in the fight phase an Imperial Fist unit your army is chosen to fight with. To the end of that phase, resolve an attack made by a melee weapon by a model in that unit against an Iron Warriors unit. You can reroll the hit roll and you can reroll the wound roll. Right, so if you're in that situation, that's an excellent card. Bolster Defences. 1 command point. Use this stratagem in the start of your movement phase. Select one Imperial Fist infantry unit from your army. It's entirely in or within a terrain feature, as long as that unit remains stationary. And resolve an attack made against that unit. Add an additional 1 to the saving throw. This will normally mean you add 2 to the saving throw for being in cover. Invuln saves are unaffected. You can use this stratagem once per battle. So, useful enough. I'm thinking like Centurions, Bine Aegis defense line, something like that. Really want to try and protect them as much as possible. So pretty good. It's only 1 command point, so not too bad at all. Sappers then. 1 command point. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase or the fight phase with an Imperial Fist unit from your army is chosen to shoot or fight with. At the end of that phase, resolve an attack made by a model in that unit against a building unit. Add 1 to the hit roll and 1 to the wound roll. Okay, it's quite rare you come up against buildings. This is a problem. Pain is a lesson. 1 command point, use a stratagem in any phase. An Imperial Fist unit from your army is not a vehicle or servitor is chosen to target an enemy attack. To the end of that phase, when a model in that unit would lose a wound, roll 1d6, and a 6th wound is not lost. Oh boy, okay, it's not that amazing. I mean, if you look at the Salamanders review, I just like, each one's just like a superb stratagem, but these are quite tame here. It's 2 command points for close range bolter fire. This could be useful. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when an Imperial Fist unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. To the end of that phase, bolt weapons, various types, models in that unit equipped with have the pistol type instead of their normal rapid fire, and so on. Yeah, rapid fire 2 becomes pistol 2, for example. Yeah, so you find yourself locked in combat, and you can do that, so that's useful enough. It's 2 command points though. So you need to have a unit with a lot of decent firepower to make that worthwhile. It's not worth it if you've only got 5-10 shots. It needs to be something with lots of shooting. Bolter drill, 2 command points. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when you choose an Imperial Fist unit from your army to shoot with. To the end of that phase, resolve an attack made by a model in that unit with a bolt weapon. A modified hit roll of 6 scores an additional hit. But it's 2 command points. Oh no. It's not good. Yes, if you've got a big unit, tons of shots, like aggressors for example, but your standard tactical squad, 2 command points, and you've got to get 6s to get the extra hit. Oh no, if it was 1 command point you'd be playing it quite often, but 2 command points is expensive. Stubborn defense, 2 command points. Use this stratagem at the start of the battle. The Imperial Fist Warlord from your armies on the battlefield. At the end of the battle you cannot discard storm and defend objectives, but when you achieve one you score 1 additional victory point. You can only use a stratagem if the mission you're playing uses tactical objectives, so quite specific, and again 2 command points. Right, Tank Hunters. Trying to find a couple of gold gems here. Tank Hunters, 2 command points. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase or the fight phase when you choose an Imperial Fist unit from your army to shoot or fight with. Select 1 enemy vehicle unit. To the end of that phase, resolve an attack made by a model an Imperial Fist unit against the selected unit, add 1 to the wound roll. So +1 to wound. Yep. Okay, helpful enough. Again, it's 2 command points, but it'll help you bring a target down, so yeah, that's not too bad. +1 to wound rolls. Okay. See, I might use that a few times. Champion of Blades, 1 command point. Use a stratagem after nominating a model drawn from Imperial Fists Successor chapter to be your Warlord. You can give 1 relic of the Fists to a character model from your army that is drawn from Imperial Fists Successor chapter instead of giving it to a special issue. Instead of giving them a special issue Wargear relic, or a chapter relic from Codex Space Marines. If you do so, replace the Imperial Fists and Crimson Fist keywords and all instances with that relic, if any, with that model's chapter keyword. You can use a stratagem once per battle. Sentinel of Terror, 1 command point. Use a stratagem after nominating an Imperial Fist character model that is not a named character to be your Warlord. You can generate an additional Warlord trait. I reckon that's useful enough, because there's some decent Warlord traits there. This must be for Imperial Fist Warlord traits table. All Warlord traits the army includes must be different. If randomly generated, roll duplicates. You can choose 2 then, basically. Yeah, great. Yeah, doubling up, only 1 command point. Very useful. Clearance protocols, 1 command point. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase an Imperial Fist unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. Up to 10 models in that unit that are equipped with grenades can throw a grenade that phase instead of only 1 model being able to do so. That is excellent. 10 crack grenades. Yes. Yeah, we're trying to clear a screen. 10 frag grenades. Yeah, brilliant. Excellent. Yeah, excellent, excellent. Really good. That's a nice one. That's only 1 command point. Superb. The Praetorians are off here. 2 command points. Use this stratagem at the start of your movement phase if the Devastator Doctrine is active. To the start of your next movement phase, resolve an attack made by a heavy or grenade weapon by an Imperial Fist model from your army. Unmodified wound roll of 6. The armor penetration characteristic of that weapon is improved by 1. For that attack, you can use this stratagem once per battle. But it's 2 command points to do it. You need 6s to make it work. Okay. So my favourite so far is that grenades clearance protocols. Death Guard have something similar, and someone else has something similar. Throwing all the grenades at once. Orks. More stick bombs. Gift of the Phalanx. 1 command point. Use this stratagem before the battle. So the impression I'm getting is I'm going to build my list similar to what I've proposed. It's on the plus chart at the moment, focusing on heavy guns and majoring on las cannons and assault cannons, clearing away infantry. So assault cannons is just whatever infantry is, light, heavy, whatever. It's just decent, and then making use of a few of these to help bolster the defences, and then relying on the new tactical doctrines abilities to enhance the firepower that's already there. But here I'm not going to be too dependent on these, really. Okay, so give to the phalanx, use one command point, use a stratagem before the battle, select an Imperial Fist model from your army. That's the sergeant keyword in their profile. The model can have one of the following special issue Wargames relics, even though they're not a character. Mastercraft weapon, digital weapons, Fist of Terror, Gatebreaker bolts. All of the relics in your army must be different, given to different models. The shield unwavering. Here we are, the last three. Come on. 2 command points. The shield unwavering. Use this stratagem at the end of your turn. Select one Imperial Fist infantry unit from your army that is within 3 inches of an objective marker. To the start of your next turn, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of models in that unit. And when resolve an attack made by that unit, add 1 to the saving throw. Okay, so yeah, okay, so you've got a unit of the end of your turn, not the start of your turn. Oh, so it's a shame, but if it was start of the turn would have been better. It's 2 command points, and really it just lasts until the start of your next turn, so it's the end of your turn, so you don't get to do anything with it on your turn. It's just sort of bracing yourself for the incoming attack from the opponent. Okay, I'm thinking like a unit of Terminators that's on an objective, for example, but it's 2 command points for that. Slay the Tyrant. 1 command point, use the stratagem in your shooting phase or fight phase if a Crimson Fists unit from your army is chosen to shoot or fight with. Until the end of that phase, when resolve an attack made by a model in that unit against a character unit, add 1 to the hit roll. And then a hated foe. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase or fight phase when a Crimson Fist unit from your army is chosen to shoot or fight with. To the end of that phase, resolve an attack made by a model in that unit against an Ork unit, you can reroll the wound roll. So hated enemies of the Orks. So I don't know, leave your own comments and feedback, but I would be a little bit disappointed here as an Imperial Fist player. I think Salamander's got a better deal, for sure. There's some ones in here that are okay. Some of the ones that are okay are 2 command points time, like Bolter Drill, 2 command points. Oh, shame. Yeah, so there's a couple in there, but nothing where, oh yes, this has made the Imperial Fists incredible. There's some helpful ones, but maybe you disagree. So that's the impression I've got. Okay, Geokinesis. Do I bring back the Librarian? I kicked him out of the list recently, but do we bring him back and make use of this Geokinesis discipline? Here we go. And I'm looking for 2 powers that are good. And the idea is that, heavy firepower, machines, supporting infantry, defensive line, breaking out, claiming objectives, anything to help and assist with that. So trying to preserve and keep units alive might be one key feature here. Tectonic Purge. The warp charge value of 6. If manifested, then until the start of your next psychic phase, when a charge roll is made from any unit within 12 of this psyker, it's -2 from the result. Okay, well, yeah, helpful to try and protect your line. Fine, not bad. And again, you're choosing your powers when you know who you're up against. So you're up against a Tyranid player, and they're going to come at you. You think, oh right, okay, I'm going to select some specific powers to try and help out, anticipating what's going to happen. So, if you're up against Tau, you're not going to go for that one, because Tau, it's very unlikely they're going to try and charge your gun line. They're going to try and destroy you from range. But if you're up against something that's going to come straight towards you, then Tectonic Purge would be useful. Rack and Ruin. Warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one building unit within 18 visible to the psyker, or select one enemy unit that's wholly within a terrain feature within 18 visible to the psyker. Roll 9d6, adding 1 to the result if the unit you selected was a building. For each roll of a 5+, unit suffers 1 mortal wound. Hang on a second. Roll 9d6, adding 1 to the result of the unit was a building, but it's still 5+. It's mortal wounds. Yeah. Hold it. This could be nice. So walk charge value of 6. Select 1 building unit within 18 and visible to the psyker. Or select 1 enemy unit that's wholly within 9. Wholly within or on a terrain feature and within 18. So they need to be on terrain. Which narrows that down a bit. So the opponent's going to stay out of terrain. Oh, I don't know. The idea is the building collapses, but you could snipe a character out with that. 9d6, even if it's just a character. Yeah, and 5+ is for mortal wounds. So you could catch someone out with that, but if the opponent's wise to it, they'll just... Okay. Iron Inferno. There's a walk charge value of 6. If manifested, select 1 point in the battlefield of an 18 visible to the psyker, or 1d6 for each enemy unit within 6 at that point, and 4+ it's a mortal wound. So it's like a mini orbital strike. Fortify. Walk charge value of 4. If manifested, select 1 Imperial Fists infantry or bike unit within 12. That model regains up to D3 lost wounds. Cool. Brilliant. God, nice. Yeah. So again, I'm thinking my Centurions, for example, and you combine that with an Apothecary. The Apothecary brings back a model in the movement phase, I think, and then you can go for him to kick the wounds back up, and then instead of healing a model next time around, the Apothecary could try and resurrect another one. So this could be a good combo going on there. That Fortify is great. Yeah, and very useful for helping out characters. Yeah, brilliant. Okay. That one's cool. But to get the most out of that, what you want an Apothecary, I reckon. Aspect of Stone, and it's not going to be very useful if you have standard Marines throughout the list, not many wounds about, but if you've got Primaris type models, Terminators, Centurions and so on, that's very useful. Okay, so there's one decent one. Rack and Ruin maybe, but there's loopholes in that ways that the opponent can get around that one. So looking for these two here. Aspect of Stone has a walk charge value of 5. If manifested, then until the start of your next psychic phase, add 2 to the psyker's strength and toughness characteristics. You actually make the psyker tougher and stronger. Right, okay. Not that you really usually want him to get him into trouble. Right, then finally Chasm. So walk charge value of 6. If manifested, select 1 enemy unit that cannot fly and was within 18 of the psyker visible to it. So again, you can go after characters. Roll 2d6. If the result is less than the lowest move characteristic in that unit, it suffers a mortal wound. If the result equals the move characteristic, it's D3 mortal wounds. If the result is greater than the lowest move characteristic, which is a real fair chance doing it, then it's 3 mortal wounds. Yeah, Chasm is great. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, pretty good. Chasm, Fortify, and then Smite as a backup if you want to go aggressive. Fine, I reckon I'd go for those two, Fortify and Chasm. Not too bad at all, so that's tempting me to take the Librarian again. Yeah. Because you're going to get those 3 mortal wounds a fair amount of the time. Yes, really good. And you can go after characters with it. So, not too bad here from Geokinesis. Not too bad at all. Tactical objectives, I'll call these out. Indomitable Defense. When a tactical objective is generated, select 3 objective markers. Score 1 victory point if you control one of those objective markers. D3 victory points if you control 2 of them, and D3 plus 3 victory points if you control 3. You cannot achieve this tactical objective in the same turn it was generated. Okay, and then Man the Walls. Score 1 victory point if at least 3 Imperial Fist infantry units from your army are either embarked inside buildings and or are completely on or within terrain features at the end of the turn. Great, an easy one. Disciplined Firepower. When this tactical objective is generated, select a number between 1 and 3. Score a number of victory points equal to that number, but only if at least that many enemy units were destroyed as a result of an attack by an Imperial Fist unit from your army during this turn. Shooting phase. Discard this tactical objective, it's not achieved this turn. So Disciplined Firepower, encouraging the gun line, heavy firepower, which matches in with the style I'm going for as well. Champions of Dawn. Score 1 victory point at the end of the turn if an enemy character model was destroyed as a result of an attack made by a melee weapon by an Imperial Fist character from your army this turn. So that's something for Lysander to do. Death Before Dishonour. Score 1 victory point if this tactical objective has been active at the end of 2 consecutive turns. Discard this tactical objective immediately if an Imperial Fist unit from your army falls back. Okay, quite achievable. Breach the defences, or breach their defences. Score 1 victory point for each enemy unit that was destroyed whilst it is entirely on or within a terrain feature, and for each enemy building that was destroyed as a result of an attack made by an Imperial Fists unit from your army this turn, to a maximum of 3 victory points. And there it is, you get a name generator at the end as well. So that's the review for Imperial Fists. Okay, not too bad. I would say, and I'll stick to it, I'll say that the Salamanders are pretty good. I think they've come off better. Imperial Fists are okay here. There's some okay stratagems. The Geokinesis, Psychic Powers are interesting for sure. Relics, not too bad. But nothing that blows me away here. That's just my opinion. Leave your own comments and feedback. If you are an Imperial Fist player, leave your own impressions for what you've seen here in this Codex review. Keep a lookout for more reviews on the channel. Thanks again to Games Workshop for sending me a copy early and ahead of time. And check out gamingfigures.com, the channel sponsor here, for discounted 40k and a whole load of other gaming systems as well. But that's the review for the Imperial Fists. Keep a lookout for new battle reports of these using the new Codex supplement. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.